Dr. Lisa Martinez stared at her computer screen in the quiet of her lab on the Lunar Research Station. The clock showed 3 a.m. Earth time, but she couldn't sleep. Not after what she had found in the human DNA samples. "This can't be right," she whispered, rubbing her tired eyes. The section of DNA that scientists had labeled as junk for centuries was showing patterns she had never seen before. It wasn't junk at all. The soft hum of lab equipment filled the room as she ran the tests again. The results were the same. These strange sequences in human DNA seemed to act like empty slots, waiting to be filled with new information. It was as if humans had been designed with room to grow, to change, to become something more. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago, but she didn't care. She reached for her phone to call her research partner, Dr. Andrew Cole, when the emergency alarm began to blare through the station. "All personnel, report to the main observation deck immediately," the station's AI announced. "This is not a drill. Repeat, all personnel to the main observation deck." Lisa stayed her work and locked her computer. Whatever was happening, she wouldn't risk losing this discovery. As she hurried through the station's white corridors, she passed other confused scientists and staff members, all heading in the same direction. The observation deck was already crowded when she arrived. Through the massive windows, she could see Earth hanging like a blue jewel in the black sky. But something else caught everyone's attention. A massive ship, unlike anything humans had ever built, was approaching the station. Station Commander Paul Weber stood at the front of the room, his face serious but calm. 10 minutes ago, we received a transmission from this vessel. They identify themselves as representatives of the Kraxan Empire, an advanced civilization from a star system 400 light-years from Earth. A murmur went through the crowd. First contact. After all these years of wondering, aliens had finally arrived. The ship was beautiful in a strange way. It looked like flowing silver, with no sharp edges or visible seams. It was at least 10 times the size of the research station. "They're requesting permission to dock," Commander Weber continued. "The United Earth government has granted approval. I need everyone to remain calm and professional. Dr. Martinez, Dr. Cole, please step forward. As our lead geneticists, you'll be part of the welcome team." Lisa's heart raced as she moved to the front of the room. Andrew joined her, his usually cheerful face now serious. "Did you see my message about the DNA analysis?" she whispered. "No, I just woke up. What did you find?" Before she could answer, the station shuddered slightly as the alien ship connected to their docking port. The room fell silent. The first Kraxan to enter the observation deck was tall, nearly 7 feet. Its skin had a slight silvery sheen, like its ship, and its 4 eyes blinked independently of each other. Behind it came 4 more aliens, each wearing what looked like formal robes in deep purple. "Greetings, people of Earth," the first alien spoke in perfect English. "I am Ambassador Vexilon of the Kraxan Empire. We have been watching your species with great interest." Commander Weber stepped forward to welcome them, but Lisa barely heard his words. She was focused on the way the aliens were looking around the room, not with wonder or diplomatic politeness, but with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. Their eyes lingered on the younger humans in the crowd, and they seemed to be taking careful notes on their devices. The ambassador's next words caught her attention. "We are particularly interested in your genetic research facilities," he said. "We have observed that humans have some unique qualities we would like to study." Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. She thought about the strange patterns she had just discovered in human DNA, and the way these aliens seemed so focused on their genetics. Something wasn't right. Andrew must have felt it too. He grabbed her hand and squeezed it gently, their old signal for danger. As the formal welcomes continued, Lisa knew 2 things for certain. Her discovery about human DNA was more important than she had initially thought, and she needed to be very careful about who she shared it with. The first contact with an alien species should have been the happiest day in human history. Instead, Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that it might be the beginning of something dangerous. She just hoped she was wrong. Chief Science Officer Peter Grant didn't trust the Craxons. After 3 weeks of their presence on the Lunar Research Station, too many things didn't add up. He sat in his office, reviewing security footage from the past week. The aliens had set up their own lab in the East Wing, but they kept asking for access to human genetic samples. Every time they were denied, more gifts of advanced technology would appear. His computer beeped with an incoming call. It was Catherine Murphy, Kate to her friends, the head of station security. Her face looked worried on the screen. "Peter, we need to talk. In person. Meet me in storage room B in 10 minutes. The storage room was far from the main labs and the Craxons' usual areas. When Peter arrived, Kate was already there, along with Dr. Martinez. Kate had changed from her usual security uniform into plain clothes. "Show him," Kate said to Lisa. Dr. Martinez pulled out a tablet. "Remember the DNA patterns I found right before the Craxons arrived? Look at this." She showed him a video of cells changing and adapting in ways that should have been impossible. Human DNA can do things no other known species can do. It can change without breaking down. "And now look at this," Kate added, pulling out her own tablet. "These are classified files I found in the Craxons' database. My team managed to break their encryption last night." The files showed hundreds of failed experiments. Alien soldiers in tanks, their bodies twisted and broken. Notes about genetic modification, attempts spanning centuries. Species after species that had died when the Craxons tried to enhance them. "They're not here for friendship," Kate said quietly. "They've been trying to create super soldiers for their army. Every species they've tried has failed. Their bodies can't handle the changes. But humans, we can adapt," Peter finished, feeling sick. "That's why they're so interested in our genetics lab." Lisa nodded. "The junk DNA in humans isn't junk at all. It's like backup space, room for upgrades that no other species has." The Craxons must have seen this in their long-range scans of Earth. A noise in the hallway made them all freeze. Kate moved silently to the door, her hand on her weapon. After a moment, she relaxed. "Just a maintenance robot." "There's more," Lisa said. "I found messages between the Craxons and someone in the Earth government. Someone's already agreed to give them test subjects." Peter felt his blood run cold. "Who?" "Director Richard Hayes. He's making a deal. Human test subjects in exchange for their weapons technology." "We can't let this happen," Kate said firmly. "But we need proof that everyone will believe. And we need to figure out exactly what they're planning." Peter looked at the data again. "How many people know about this?" "Just us 3. My research partner, Dr. Cole, and Kate's tech specialist, Daniel Wright." Lisa answered. "We don't know who else we can trust." "The Craxons are planning something big," Kate added. "Their ship has been receiving strange cargo at night. My security cameras caught them unloading tanks, the kind you'd use to hold people." "Then we don't have much time," Peter said. He looked at the others. "Dr. Martinez, you need to secure your research, if they get their hands on it." "Already done. It's on a separate system they can't access. But they're getting impatient. Yesterday, Ambassador Vexilon suggested that sharing genetic samples should be mandatory for the Alliance." Kate's communicator beeped. "Someone's accessing the restricted labs," she said, checking the screen. "We need to move. Peter, can you keep the Craxons busy with official meetings? We need time to gather more evidence." Peter nodded. "I'll schedule a full review of their proposed technology exchange. That should take all day." As they left the storage room one by one, Peter thought about all the times the Craxons had asked about human healing, about their adaptability, about their survival in extreme conditions. It had never been simple scientific curiosity. They were measuring their weapons' newest testing ground, and if they weren't stopped, humanity would pay the price. "Be careful," Kate warned as they split up. "If they realize we know." She didn't need to finish the sentence. They all understood what was at stake. The future of humanity might depend on what they did next. The emergency alarms woke Dr. Andrew Cole at 2 a.m. Red lights flashed through the corridors of the Lunar Research Station as he rushed to the genetics lab. When he arrived, his heart stopped. The lab was in chaos. Broken glass covered the floor, and several research stations were destroyed. But worst of all, Lisa Martinez was gone. Her computer was still on, showing the work she'd been doing on human DNA. "They took her," Kate Murphy said from behind him. She had her weapon drawn, and her uniform was torn. "The Kraxans broke into the lab 20 minutes ago. They're done asking nicely." Daniel Wright, their tech specialist, was already at Lisa's computer. "They didn't get her research," he said, typing quickly. "She managed to delete everything before they grabbed her." "Where did they take her?" Andrew asked, trying to stay calm. "Their ship," Kate answered. "But that's not all. They've taken 5 other scientists too. And," she paused, "they have permission from Director Hayes. He's calling it a cultural exchange program." Peter Grant burst into the lab. "It's worse than we thought," he said, out of breath. "I just saw inside their ship. They're not just studying our DNA anymore. They're ready to start testing." Kate's radio crackled. One of her security teams spoke quickly. "Commander, the Kraxans are making an announcement to the whole station." They rushed to the nearest screen. Ambassador Vexilon's face appeared, all 4 of his eyes blinking calmly. "People of Earth," he said, "your DNA holds the key to the greatest advance in galactic history. For centuries, we have tried to create better soldiers, but every species we tested failed. Their bodies broke down. But humans," he smiled, showing sharp teeth, "humans are different." The screen changed to show a laboratory on the Kraxan ship. Lisa and the other scientists were there, surrounded by alien guards. "Dr. Martinez has made an amazing discovery," Vexilon continued. "Human DNA contains special patterns that allow for extreme changes without failure. When we add these patterns to other species, they survive our improvements. Humans are the key we have been searching for." Andrew felt sick as he watched. Lisa stood straight and proud, but he could see the fear in her eyes. "The first tests begin today," Vexilon announced. "Thanks to our agreement with your Earth government, we will finally create the perfect soldiers. Humanity should be proud. Your DNA will help us build an unstoppable army." The screen went dark. "We have to stop them," Andrew said. Lisa found something else in her research, something she didn't put in the computer. The human DNA patterns aren't just empty spaces waiting to be filled. They're like locks. If you try to force them open, what happens? Kate asked. "Total cell breakdown, but not in the human, in whatever species is trying to use the DNA. She thinks it's a natural defense system. Humans can adapt and change, but only if they choose to. If you try to force it, everything falls apart." Peter finished. "Did she tell the Kraxans this?" "No. She was still running tests to be sure." Daniel looked up from his computer. "I've got access to their ship's systems. Their security isn't as good as they think. We can get in through the maintenance tunnels." Kate checked her weapon. "We need to move fast. Once they start their experiments, they'll find out what happens when you try to steal human DNA instead of asking for help," Andrew said. He grabbed his tablet. "I'm coming too. You'll need my help to stop whatever they're doing to Lisa and the others. It's not just them we're saving," Kate said as they prepared to leave. "If the Kraxans' experiments fail, they might decide to take what they want by force. We have to show them why that's a bad idea." Peter nodded. "Go. I'll coordinate from here and keep Director Hayes busy. And everyone." He looked at each of them. "Be careful. The Kraxans haven't shown us what they do to their enemies yet." The small team moved quickly through the station, heading for the secret entrance Daniel had found. They had one chance to stop this. If they failed, humanity would become nothing more than a resource for alien soldiers. The Kraxans were about to learn an important lesson. Human DNA wasn't just special because it could adapt. It was special because it belonged to humans who would fight to stay free. Director Richard Hayes stood in his office on Earth, looking out at the night sky. The Kraxan ship was visible from here, a bright dot moving across the stars. His phone rang, the secure line that only 5 people had access to. The experiments have begun. Ambassador Vexilon's voice came through. Your cooperation will not be forgotten, Director. The first shipment of weapons will arrive tomorrow. Hayes smiled. Excellent. And the subjects? The scientists are providing valuable data, especially Dr. Martinez. Her understanding of human DNA is impressive. A knock at his door interrupted them. I'll call back, Hayes said quickly. Kate Murphy burst into the office, with Daniel right behind her. They had somehow gotten past his security. We have proof of what you did, Kate said, holding up a data drive. The deals with the Kraxans, the secret orders to hand over the scientists, everything. Hayes kept his face calm. Whatever you think you know, you don't understand the bigger picture. The Kraxans' technology will make Earth the strongest power in the galaxy. At what cost? Daniel asked, connecting his tablet to Hayes' computer. We found the real numbers. You didn't just give them 6 scientists. You've agreed to give them thousands of people for their experiments. On Hayes' screens, files began to appear. Secret orders, lists of people marked for transfer to Kraxan ships, plans for facilities where humans would be kept and tested. You're looking at this all wrong, Hayes said. A few thousand people in exchange for technology that will protect billions. It's a small price. It's not your price to pay, Kate answered. Her voice was hard. And we've already sent copies of everything to every news station on Earth. Hayes laughed. You think that matters. The public will understand. They'll see that I'm protecting Earth's future. No, came a new voice. Andrew Cole stepped into the office. They'll see this. He held up his phone. On it was a video from the Kraxan ship. Lisa Martinez was strapped to a table, screaming as alien machines pumped chemicals into her body. In the background, other humans were in glass tanks, their bodies twisted by failed experiments. This is what you agreed to, Andrew said. This is what you're doing to your own people. Hayes reached for the alarm button under his desk, but Kate was faster. She grabbed his arm. Security is already handling the Kraxan guards outside, she said. It's over. You don't understand what you've done, Hayes said, his face turning red. The Kraxans won't just give up. They'll take what they want by force now. Let them try, Daniel said, still working on the computer. We found something else in their files. Every species they've ever experimented on eventually turned against them. Their empire is already falling apart. That's why they need human DNA so badly. And now everyone knows, Kate added, not just on Earth. We sent the proof to every alien species in their database. The Kraxans' secrets are out. Hayes slumped in his chair. On his screens, news reports were already starting to appear. Crowds were gathering outside government buildings. In orbit, other alien ships were approaching. Representatives from species who had suffered under Kraxan experiments. The Kraxans promised us protection, Hayes whispered. No, Kate said. They promised you weapons. There's a difference. Humanity doesn't need their protection. We just needed to know the truth. Security officers entered the office. Real Earth security, not Hayes' private force. Director Hayes, the lead officer said, you're under arrest for treason, human rights violations, and conspiracy with a hostile alien power. As they led Hayes away, Kate's radio crackled. It was Peter Grant from the lunar station. The Kraxans are trying to leave, he said, but their test subjects are fighting back. Liza, she did something to their systems. You need to see this. Kate looked at Andrew and Daniel. Let's go. This isn't over yet. They hurried out, leaving Hayes to face Earth's justice. Above them, the Kraxan ship glowed brighter in the night sky. The real battle was just beginning. Dr. Lisa Martinez worked quickly in the hidden lab deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Her hands shook from too much coffee, but she couldn't stop. Not now. Not when she finally understood what made human DNA so special. "You need to rest," Dr. Andrew Cole said, bringing her more coffee anyway. "You've been working for 20 hours straight." "Look at this," Lisa said, pointing to her screen. "Human DNA doesn't just adapt. It helps other species adapt too. But only if they ask nicely." The lab door opened. Kate Murphy entered with Daniel Wright and 3 aliens. These aliens weren't Craxans. They were refugees from other species who had escaped Craxan experiments. "The Craxans are getting desperate," Kate reported. "They've lost contact with their home world. More ships are joining our side every day." One of the aliens, a tall blue-skinned being named Rix, stepped forward. "My people were among their first victims," he said. "They tried to force our DNA to change. Thousands died." Lisa nodded, because they didn't understand. Human DNA has a built-in safety system. "Look here." She showed them a simulation on her screen. "When you try to force it to change other species, it fights back. But when you ask for help..." She pressed a button. The simulation showed human DNA gently connecting with alien cells, making them stronger without hurting them. "It's like a key," Andrew explained. "You can't break the door down. You have to be invited in." Daniel checked his tablet. "The Craxans are still trying it the hard way. They've set up labs on Mars. More test subjects are being taken there every day." "Not for long," Kate said. She spread a map on the table. "We've got people inside their facilities. Resistance groups are growing on every planet in their empire. We just need to show everyone the truth." Lisa stood up from her computer. "I can do better than that. I can show them how to fix what the Craxans broke." She brought up more images. "See these patterns? They're like instruction manuals. Human DNA can teach other species how to heal themselves, how to grow stronger naturally. But it has to be their choice. A gift, not a weapon." Rick said softly. "My people have legends about this, about a species that would come to heal the stars." The lab's alert system suddenly flashed red. Daniel ran to his computers. "Craxan ships are entering the solar system," he reported. "Lots of them. They're heading for Mars. They're going to try one last big experiment," Kate said. "They think if they use enough human DNA at once, they'll tear themselves apart." Lisa finished. "The safety system will trigger in all their labs at once. They'll destroy themselves and all their test subjects." Andrew was already packing equipment. "We need to stop them. Show them there's a better way." "Not just show them," Lisa said. She held up a small container of glowing blue liquid. "I've been working on this. It's a message written in DNA. If we can get it into their lab's air systems, it will show every test subject how to resist the force changes, how to take control of their own DNA. Like a genetic freedom virus," Daniel said with a small smile. Kate checked her weapons. "How do we deliver it?" "I have an idea," Rick said, "but we'll need help from the other refugee ships, and someone will have to get into the main Craxan lab on Mars." "I'll go," Lisa said firmly. "I know their systems, and..." She touched her arms, where scars from their tests still showed. "I owe them a science lesson." Kate nodded. "We leave in an hour. Daniel, contact every resistance group in the system. Rix, get your ships ready. Andrew, help Lisa pack what she needs." As everyone rushed to prepare, Lisa looked at her computer one last time. The simulation was still running, showing human DNA doing what it did best, helping others grow stronger while staying true to themselves. "Ready?" Kate asked her. Lisa picked up the container of blue liquid. "Ready. Let's go teach the Craxans about the real power of human DNA." The red dust of Mars swirled around Kate Murphy as she led her team toward the Craxan testing facility. The massive building rose from the desert like an ugly metal mountain. Behind her, Lisa Martinez and Andrew Cole checked their oxygen tanks one last time. "Daniel, Are you in their systems? Kate spoke quietly into her radio. Almost there, Daniel's voice came back from their hidden ship. Their security is stronger here than on Earth. Give me 2 more minutes. Lisa held the container of blue liquid carefully. The genetic freedom virus, as they now called it, glowed even in the dim Martian sunlight. It was their best hope to save thousands of test subjects. Movement ahead, Andrew warned. Kraxan guards. They ducked behind a rock formation. 2 tall Kraxan soldiers walked past, their silver skin reflecting the sunlight. But something was wrong with them. Their bodies looked twisted, with muscles bulging in strange ways. They're testing the DNA changes on their own people now, Lisa whispered. They're getting desperate. Kate's radio crackled again. I'm in, Daniel said. You won't believe what I'm seeing. They have hundreds of test subjects in there. Humans, aliens, even their own people. They're planning something big. How long until Rix and the refugee ships arrive? Kate asked. 20 minutes. They're bringing ships from every species the Kraxans ever experimented on. It's quite a fleet. Kate nodded. That's our window. Once the ships attack from above, we go in. Lisa, are you sure this will work? Lisa looked at the blue liquid. The virus will spread through their air systems. It won't hurt anyone. It just teaches their DNA how to resist force changes. Like a vaccine that spreads knowledge instead of immunity. Guards are changing shifts, Andrew reported. We need to move now. They ran low across the red sand, reaching the facility's side door. Daniel had already disabled its locks. Inside, the air was cold and smelled like a hospital. The main lab is 3 floors down, Lisa said, checking her tablet. That's where they're keeping most of the test subjects. They moved through empty corridors. Strange sounds echoed from behind closed doors. Machinery humming, people crying, aliens speaking in worried voices. Here, Andrew said, stopping at a large vent. This connects to their air system. Lisa opened her container, ready to pour in the virus. Suddenly, alarms began to blare. They found us. Daniel's voice came through their radios. The Kraxan ships are starting their final experiment. There? Oh no. What is it? Kate asked. They're injecting every test subject at once. They think if they force enough DNA changes simultaneously, the safety system will overload. Lisa finished. It will kill everyone in the facility. We have to stop them. Kate made a quick decision. New plan. Andrew, get the virus into the vents. Lisa, can you get to their control room? Stop the injections. Yes, but I'll need help. You'll have it. Daniel, tell Rix to attack now. We need that distraction. The facility shook as the first explosions hit above. Through the windows, they could see ships appearing in the sky. Dozens of them. From every species the Kraxans had ever heard. Go, Kate ordered. They split up. Andrew carefully poured the blue liquid into the vent system, watching it turn to vapor and spread through the tubes. Lisa and Kate ran toward the control room. Behind locked doors, test subjects began to wake up. The virus was teaching them, showing their DNA how to fight back, how to resist the changes being forced on them. A Kraxan guard appeared, his body hideously twisted by failed experiments. But before he could attack, his own DNA began to heal him. The virus was working, undoing the damage, showing even the Kraxans themselves a better way. The refugee ships are breaking through their defenses, Daniel reported. And you should see the test subjects. They're not just resisting. They're helping each other escape. Kate smiled as they ran. The Kraxans had wanted to create the perfect soldiers. Instead, they were about to learn what really made humans special, not their DNA's ability to change, but their choice to use that power to help others stay free. 1 month after the battle on Mars, Lisa Martinez stood before the newly formed Galactic Council. Representatives from 50 alien species filled the Great Hall of the space station. Even the Kraxans were there, though they no longer looked like conquerors. Human DNA was never meant to be a weapon, Lisa said, her voice carrying through the quiet room. It was meant to be a bridge. Behind her, a large screen showed the results of her latest work. Alien DNA patterns danced with human ones, showing how they could work together to make both species stronger. In the front row, Kate Murphy and Andrew Cole watched proudly. Dangle Wright sat at a control panel, running the presentation, and next to them sat Rix, now the leader of the alien resistance that had helped free the test subjects. "The Kraxans tried to steal our power," Lisa continued, "but they didn't understand what makes humans special. We can change, adapt, and grow stronger. But our greatest strength is our ability to help others do the same." Ambassador Vexilon stood up. His silver skin was no longer twisted by failed experiments. The genetic freedom virus had healed him, like it had healed all the others. "We were wrong," he said simply. "For centuries, we tried to force evolution. We caused so much pain. But humanity showed us a better way." Kate stepped forward. "That's why we're proposing the Galactic Genetic Research Alliance, a place where all species can work together, sharing their strengths, helping each other grow stronger through cooperation, not force." The images on the screen change, showing plans for a massive research center on Earth. It would be open to scientists from every world, dedicated to healing the damage done by centuries of cruel experiments. "Already, the human DNA patterns we shared have helped heal thousands," Andrew reported. "Species that were dying are growing strong again. But only because they chose to accept our help." Daniel pulled up more data. "The virus we released didn't just stop the Kraxans. It taught everyone it touched about their own DNA, about how to protect it, how to help it grow naturally. That knowledge is spreading peacefully through the galaxy." An alien stood up, one of the first test subjects they had rescued. "On my world, we have a saying: strength forced is no strength at all." Humanity proved this true. They could have used their DNA as a weapon. Instead, they used it as a gift. Lisa smiled, "Because that's what humans do. We adapt, we survive, but most importantly, we help others do the same. Our DNA isn't special because it can change. It's special because it shows us how to change together." The council voted unanimously to create the alliance. The Kraxans, their empire now transformed into a peaceful federation, were the first to sign the agreement. As the ceremony ended, Kate found Lisa staring out a window at Earth below. "Thinking about what's next?" Kate asked. "There's so much more to learn," Lisa answered. "So many ways our DNA can help others. But this time, we'll do it right." Andrew joined them, holding his tablet. "The first volunteer research groups are already signing up. Species we never even knew existed, all wanting to work together." "And the Kraxans?" Kate asked. "Learning to be helpers instead of conquerors," Daniel said, walking up with Rix. "Their technology is amazing when they're not using it to hurt people. That's the real lesson in all this," Rix added. "The deadliest Supersoldier isn't the one who can fight the hardest. It's the one who can turn enemies into friends." Lisa touched the window, thinking of all the stars beyond, all the worlds waiting to be helped. "They wanted our DNA to make weapons," she said softly. "Instead, it made peace. Because that's what humans do best," Kate smiled. "We don't just adapt to survive. We adapt to help everyone survive together." Below them, Earth turned slowly, its blue oceans and white clouds peaceful in the darkness of space. A new chapter was beginning, not just for humanity, but for all species who wanted to grow stronger together.